Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled death. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you.
What's up, everybody? What is going on? It's time. It is about daggum time for the Big C and Big T podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, Travis Johnson. And coming at you as always with my best friend, Clint Clark.
Well, not always. You did replace me with Bart Reed that one time.
I did that one time, but that was.
But I was here, and I gave him my blessing. So,
did,
yeah. We'll say, like almost always.
That's right. Yeah,
we're over the 99 percentile. This is 151. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah.
151 podcasts. Who would have thought that people could listen to me and you jibber jabber for 151? And none of them, and I've been on the YouTube. I mean, some of them have close, but none of them have 0 views.
That's right. Yeah. Someone at least watched them.
Somebody at least is watching.
That's right.
Could be.
Hey, Clint, you're
yeah.
You look like you're in a different spot there, man.
No, I'm on vacation this week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm coming to you live for those of you listening to this from the beaches of Worcester. The beaches of Worcester,
oceanfront property you have in
Worcester.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm taking a staycation.
Yeah.
I didn't ask his permission. I didn't tell him I was doing it. Didn't tell anybody I was doing it because I just was like, I'd actually planned on competing in the Denver Open Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Dad's been sick, been in the hospital, so I wasn't comfortable, going that far away. I'm like, you know what? Just take a staycation.
There you
go. Just a staycation. Went to the Travelers game today.
Oh.
Well, it was.
Did you talk trash seeing the players?
It was it was awful.
Was it awful?
I'll tell you what was wrong with it, Travis. It was like Kids Day there.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of kids there. I mean, there's a lot of kids. I mean, it's like everybody is like just taking their kids on field trips. It's like field trip day.
Yeah, there was some from my school there. Yeah.
But yeah, well, see, my wife's a teacher, teaches virtually. So she didn't really have any kids to wrangle.
Yeah.
But she wanted to go, and like her coworkers were there, and they like I made a deal they're there. Here's what I did, because back in the day, Travis, and I brought this up to my wife today. If there was a situation I did not want to be in, I would just piss and moan until I got out of it.
Yeah.
You can verify that. Me well.
I can verify that.
I would basically just throw a big fit, and I try to get myself out of said situation. Not now. I'm just like, what's the most expensive ticket you have? And I'm just like, it's a traveling game, so it's not like going to a Dallas Cowboy game and go, what's the most expensive ticket you had? Well, actually, you right here.
Did you have to get in your change container in your car to get the extra $2?
Smackaroos, Travis, going to a Travelers game.
30 smacks. Holy cow, man.
But I got like front row. So there were no people around me, but it was still.
Did they let you go sweep off the home plate in between batters?
I heard for 100 I could have played third. That's what I.
Right, yeah.
I'd have been like, it would have been like college football. Been like, let's hope. Let me be the backup and let's pray this dude don't get hurt.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't. So I don't know. We stayed for about 5 innings because it was hot and there was a bunch of kids. And I got thirsty, and you couldn't get to the concession stand. It was crazy.
Oh, I bet kids were leveling that concession stand. Parents had sent them with some money for it, so they were.
Yeah, but it was good that they got, Now, Travis, you substitute a lot, and for a teacher, Is a field trip more of a harder day of work or is it a break? Because to a kid, it's like, oh man, this is a crazy, crazy day.
So some of the teachers do look forward to it. I don't go on any, but they a lot of the teachers, some of them look forward to it. Most of them don't like the bus ride because they're used to not riding buses anymore.
Oh, it's
So
got to
they
be
don't
awful.
like getting on the bus and having the loud kids on the bus and stuff like that. But once they get there, a lot of times, especially like a lot of if they take them to museums and such,
Right.
then there's people working at the museums that kind of guide the kids through. So the teachers sort of just kind of just sit back and enjoy. So I think they like those kind of things, but probably at a ball game, I'm guessing it's not as fun for them because they got to wrangle the kids, especially with so many kids there. It'd be easy for a kid to get separated from their group, I guess you could say. So
It's got to be, yeah, and it's got to be like, listen, let's say you take 100 kids to the ballpark and you only bring back 99.
that's right.
No one talks about the 99 you brought back.
That's
They
right.
focus on the one you lost.
I'll tell you one thing it did for us today is there was an announcement made, in a smaller school, you only have so many buses. And so some of the buses were going to get back a little later than when they normally leave because we had kids going to there was like three groups gone to field trips today. And so what happened is there was two buses were going to have to run two routes. So some of the kids were going to have to stay in the cafeteria. We get out at the 3:15 and 3:20. The elementary gets out 3:15. The high school gets out 3:20. Well, they were going to have the other buses go make their drop offs and then come back. So those kids were going to stay in the cafeteria till 4 until until the buses came back to get them. So that was going to be that for smaller schools that messes that up a little bit. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I'm sure they had a good time. So, and it's good the travelers do that because it gets kids to the ballpark. It gets them excited about baseball because baseball is a sport that, let's be honest, it's lost a lot of its popularity because in our fast paced world, it's a slow paced game in a lot of ways.
No, Travis. No, I'm happy you bring that up because this isn't something we planned on talking about. But it's one of them guys. We'll be honest with you here at the Big C Bigger T podcast. Football season's like the easiest podcasting in the world. They play a football game. We talk about it.
That's right.
We're in the dog days of summer, y'all. Sometimes it is hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come up with your SNL bracket, and
That's right. Yeah.
sometimes I go on a Grandpa Joe rant. You don't know what's going to happen,
right.
but I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say we're in a time for the fan where I think support for Major League Baseball is probably as low, the interest is as low as it's ever been. That being said, I think collegiate baseball is probably as high as it's ever been.
I agree with you. I think collegiate, I think high school, and I think this tournament summer ball, man. I mean, it's kids are dedicated to it. I mean, if you want to bring something up that'll bring a tear to a pastor's eye, start talking about people missing church for baseball nowadays.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have families that I hadn't seen in weeks because their kids are playing baseball tournaments. And there's some that later this summer I won't see for a while.
Oh
And
yeah. I mean,
when you're in a small church, that hurts your attendance big time.
yeah, I went through that with AU basketball. I mean, it's
Mhm.
I think Coach Buckner talked about on the I think it was what the third podcast we ever did that we had him on here.
Yeah.
He's like, kids don't get a chance to be kids nowadays.
Mhm.
It is, and I kind of when you look back and as a parent, now that you got a 20-something-year-old, you're like, man, I pushed them too hard in the summer leagues and doing this and that, and they didn't get like weekends to be a kid and like,
Yeah.
oh, I got a weekend off. Well, I'm going to Memphis playing this tournament, or I'm playing Don Owens, or what you just name them.
Well, and back when we played, which I didn't ever do tournament baseball or anything like that, but my friends that did, they were just like a Saturday tournament. And that was it. They wasn't big enough to go into more than that. And they It just wasn't. It wasn't bigger than that. They were happy with that. Nowadays, those kids will get there, man, and parents are spending tons of money on hotel rooms uh, to stay at places. They're spending money to eat out. I mean, it's a big thing. But I mean, those kids. I mean, but we're getting some good baseball players out of the deal, and so that's
Yeah, we really, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. So
well. Clint, the big talk right now, I mean, like you said, it is sort of the dog days of summer, but right now is John Calipari, John Calipari, therapy, John Calipari building his roster, and right now we've got a starting five, man.
you got to start in 5. We have a backup.
Yeah,
Is we do have, you know, they've got the white kid, white walk on that sits at the end of the bench. So I mean they've got some pieces. They got a starting 5 and a walk on that sits at the end of the bench.
Let me go over who we got here.
Let's go ahead.
We got guard Boogie Fland, 6'2", 170. You gotta love a guy named Boogie. Okay.
Top 25 recruit.
Recent get is Billy Richmond, 6'5", 200.
Or chief rival Trey Biddy seems really big on Boogie Fland.
Yeah.
I mean, not Boogie Fland, Billy Richmond.
Yeah.
I don't know what he got against Boogie, but he's really big on Billy Richmond. Go ahead.
Carter Knox, which we've had for a while there. 6'5", 225. He's a versatile guy from what I've heard. Can shoot outside, can cut to the basket. And you see at 6'5", 225, he's a pretty big body guy. So he's built like a man, and coming in as a freshman. Jonas Adu, I hope I'm saying that right. He's a transfer from Tennessee, was second team all SEC, played really good against us. He's 6'11", 234. And a big get, kind of a energy player, willing to do kind of anything. And then of course, Vonimir Ivicic, or however you say his name.
Oh, Big Z, don't they?
Yeah, Big Z. 7'2", 243. Transfer from
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
All right.
Let's see. Who is it they still got there looking at here? I'm trying to look. Brandon Garrison, they've contacted from Oklahoma State. Sean Stewart, they've contacted from Duke. Kaysheen Pryor from South Florida.
Garrison did commit to Kentucky.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Let's see. Let me look at the most recent.
No, the number one guy in the portal is the guy from Florida Atlantic. Has been like all world for Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Picked up apparently it's between Arkansas and the NBA, and they're liking Ord chances.
Yeah.
And they,
I think it was the On3 or whatever just recently changed their crystal ball to be in Arkansas from they were saying somewhere else, or NBA, I think, but
yeah.
Was
it Adcock? I'm probably butchering that. I was trying to look it up.
Let's see. John L. Davis.
John L. Davis, that's right.
Yeah, guard.
Yeah.
And then
Florida Atlantic, yeah. They did
and
say
they just contacted Elijah Saunders from San Diego State also.
Now they did say today, I think because I wanted to have Steve back in Bart Reed on this podcast. I wanted to hear about the different ways that Cal does things compared to the way, and it seemed like Eric Musselman wanted to get them on campus, go over analytics, tell them how we're going to use them, and really was more of an analytical approach.
Well, he sat down and watched. He would sit down and watch film with them and say,
"Yeah,
here's what you need to work on. Here's what you're, and a lot of recruits would talk. They loved that because he would talk about how they were going to help him and his offense and defense, for the team where they were going to fit in his system.
Yep. Well, Calipari's going with a little bit different approach. I'm not saying that he doesn't go over film with them and he doesn't do all that, but like he's picking up at the airport in a blacked out SUV and it's an entire VIP experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he is just like you don't even hardly know they're in town because everything's blacked out. But I think with the amount of NBA talent that Calipari has recruited, I think we're going to be all right. And they did say as well that with Calipari, Travis, I've lost my train of thought and I have derailed.
They said with Calipari,
yeah,
one thing Calipari can do, man, is he can sit there and he can be in that blacked out SUV with a recruit, and he can say, "Hey, by the way, hey, let's talk to and pull up one of his many NBA All Stars.
Let me talk, you want to talk to John? Let's talk John.
Let's talk to John Wall.
See what he did. Let's call Anthony Davis.
That's right.
No, but they did say that everyone that says Calipari's not going to be able to adapt to the world of the transfer portal is about to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
They say he does things different. It's not a big, it's going to be like a slow trickling of just talent coming in. Based off what you've seen so far, Travis, what do you project this Arkansas team to be next year? Like as far you expect them to be?
I really think it's going to be competitive. I mean, look at what we got. I think
it's going to be a Sweet 16 type team. I don't know if it's going to be, but here's the deal. For the most part, everybody's going to reset their roster every year.
It'll definitely be a team that's going to have to build up.
Yeah, Calipari's already used to doing that. I mean, the UConns of the last 2 years are going to be, kind of like that we're together. This is going to be Calipari's going to have more of, I think, a mix of the transfer portal and the young guys and the young studs.
Well, and Musselman had to go through the same thing with bringing in a lot of players. They're going to take their lumps at the first. There's going to be times where Arkansas fans are going to be like, fire Calipari. I knew we shouldn't have hired that chump. That's what they're going to do because we'll lose to somebody.
That's what we do. We want to fire everybody.
Our offense will look terrible against somebody. We won't be able to hit a shot. I mean, just that because that happens, right? When you're putting a new team together like this. But I think there's some talent on this team, man. I mean, just those 5 right there. Now, there's still a lot to go. And there's still a whole lot to fill. Okay. And it's going to be transfer portal mania to fill those.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be a competitive team. You said Sweet 16. I wouldn't go that far just yet, but it'll be a tournament team for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And, it'll be competitive. We're going to, we'll be talked about. I mean, of course we will because of Cal. I mean, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think, I love what he's doing. I love what he's putting together, and let's see what happens. I'm ready to. He's new, man. Let's see what happens. He's proven himself everywhere else he's been, except for the Nets. Let's let him do it here.
There's some coaches that just aren't meant for the NBA.
Yeah.
Pitino wasn't meant for there's a very rare college coach that I think's meant for the NBA.
Yeah.
I do think if you give Calipari and Musselman in college the same talent, I think Calipari's a better coach for them.
Yeah.
If you give Musselman and Calipari the same talent in the NBA, I think Musselman's a better coach.
Probably so.
I just think, they're just different strokes for different folks, my man. So, yeah. But, Travis, all good things must come to an end. And sometimes you can only win 27 straight home games.
That's true. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes the home winning streak on Sunday, or no, it was late Saturday evening.
Yeah, Saturday
came to an end. Travis, what's your thoughts on this baseball season? Still ranked number 2 in the country.
I think if you listen to Drive Time, one of the things I think Rick Schaefer brought up, people are complaining about saying about the hitting coach. They need to fire the hitting coach. That the hitting's terrible. Clint, this team is averaging almost 7 runs a game. And our opponents are averaging 3 runs a game.
I would like to thank baseball for making it.
Yeah.
They've made it. And when you have achieved the level where they're wanting to fire your assistant coaches, that says we care about your sport.
When you're number 2 in the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
now, interesting. We're recording this tonight, they play Missouri State. And Clint, guess who the catcher is for Missouri State?
Who's that?
Well, I forget his first name, but Leach.
Oh, yeah.
Former catcher for Arkansas. Now, he did something that set a record for Arkansas that may never get broke when he was at Arkansas. Do you remember what it was? They talked about this on the radio. I wouldn't have remembered it. I remembered it once they mentioned it. Against UCA in a midweek game in Little Rock.
I do remember this, but
he hit for the cycle.
Yeah.
And he hit 2 home runs. He went 5 for 5 for the cycle with an extra home run to top it off. Now, after that year, he's still never played much, even though he did that in 1 game. Transferred to Missouri. It didn't work out there, and now he's at Missouri State.
Travis, here's the thing. Arkansas, I think, got the best starting rotation in the country. People might put Wake Forest up there with them, but I think when you put Hagen Smith in a rotation, I just think it's the best in the country. But here's the thing: the SEC's loaded with talent. Who's the number 1 team in the country, Travis? Do you know?
Texas A&M.
Who's the number 3 team in the country?
Who is it?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, that's right, yeah.
You know who the number 4 team in the country was? I don't know if they still are, but I'm just saying this is how ridiculous it is.
Was it Vandy? Kentucky, that's right.
The 2 of the 3, at the very least, 4 of the top 5 teams are SEC teams.
Yeah.
That's not even counting South Carolina, who was ranked when we played them. Alabama was ranked when we played them. I mean, just the SEC, it is the best of the freaking best. I think Missouri's doesn't have a very good baseball team, just to be honest with you. I love talking crap about Missouri, but they don't have but other than that,
yeah,
every team that we play, you may not play a lot of super regional teams, but you play a lot of regional host and guys that are going to be 2 seeds. I mean, you might have played 1 or 2 teams that aren't that type of level of a team.
Yeah. Clint, I got to stop you for a second.
Okay, I'm going to stop.
We're this far into baseball, and we haven't even mentioned what might be the play of the year by one Peyton Holt.
That was a sweet play.
Did you see the deke?
Yeah, I saw the deke.
What an amazing play, man. You got to love that guy. He's just a baller, man. Have you ever watched his highlights from football?
No, I haven't.
Get on YouTube sometime and just do a search for Peyton Holt football highlights Greenwood, something like that. There's a highlight video of him playing football. And he's just the type of player, who knows if he'll play in the major leagues. I hope he does. But he's the type of guy that goes out there with no fear, man. Because you have to have no fear to do a play like that. He did another deke last year playing, was it second? Where he pump faked and got a guy off base and got him out in a game, too. To play like that, man, you seriously have to a lot of people can do that.
I think you have to make a decision like that you're doing it. He threw a frozen rope to third, too.
Well, and you have to decide on the fly And so there has to be no fear in you. Because people do that. The thing is, half of those players could do that in practice. Half of them could do it in practice. When we were playing softball, I used to always, you play catch and you'd catch with just using the outside of your mitt. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Let the ball hit the outside of your mitt and just grab it with your hand, throw it back. I do that playing catch all the time. There were several times when I was playing first base or something, I thought about doing that. But I never had the guts to do it because I was like, as soon as I do it, I'm going to mess up and everybody's going to hate me because they're going to be like, man, you're showboating, or you're trying to be fancy and you just cost us a run or cost us an out or whatever. And so for a guy like that on the next to the highest level in the country, next to Major League Baseball, to where you got eyes on you anyway, to do something, man. That's impressive.
It is. But you know what? While you're sitting there telling that story, I'm like, I've got a bone to pick to Travis.
Oh no.
I'm holding a grudge. Probably 20 plus years in the making, Travis.
What did I do?
Okay, I don't know if you remember. We used to play on the same softball team. We played, I think, rec league. I think we were on Sherwood Williams. Now, here's the true story. I've never, in fact, hit an out of the park home run in softball. Just never had.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I've hit a couple at Don Owens that if I'd have hit them at Fifth Avenue
me too.
Beaver Fork, where the other two ball fields, they would have been out.
Yeah.
I've hit the fence at Don Owens, and that clears Beaver Fork by several feet.
Yeah.
So I don't remember who we were playing, but I remember the guy that was pitching he worked at CBC. Anyway, so first off, I hit a shot. I think I ended up getting a triple out of it. Let's be honest with you, it was me. I'm slow. It's probably a double, maybe. But I hit a shot and it hits the fence. And I had a young lady with me at the game. And then I was playing third that game, and I made a killer catch where I, caught a line drive and doubled somebody off second. And you told her Clint's not going to shut up about this all night. He's just going to keep bragging. So then, just out of principle, I could not brag on this killer softball game I just had with this girl. I'm like, did you see that shot I hit? I know I had to keep. You took it away from me, Travis.
You should have kept bragging, dude. I wouldn't have cared.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. No,
I would have bragged on myself too. Probably I'd have.
Well, if it would have been just a little bit higher and would have cleared, I probably would have bragged, but it didn't. But I hit. But I'll never forget that. I've hit two that have hit the fence at Don Owens.
Man,
you've been there for it. You've probably seen it, but it's just it's just it just.
I'm the same. I'm the exact same way, man. I hit one at Don Owens that was I'm talking as Jason Bridges would say, a phaser. Yeah, it was a line drive, hard hit, didn't get very high off the ground, and it hit about halfway up the fence on that longest field in the middle. And if it, like you said, if it had been Fifth Avenue, if it had been Beaver Fork, it would have cleared the fence. I hit one at my favorite though was I hit one at one year we were Mr. Good Sense. And we played.
I wasn't playing with y'all then. So
okay. Well, it was Mr. Good Sense Subs was the restaurant. And I got the owner was new and he had come into I was managing Game Time then, sports. And he had come in to buy some stuff from us. And then I'd gone to, I love their sandwiches. So I went in there and so I was in there. I was like, hey man, you wouldn't want to sponsor a softball team, would you? I said, I can get you. I said, all I'll need is someone to pay for our shirts. I said, and I can get them cheap for you. I can get them at discount because I'll be the one printing them. So I said, I can get them at cost because I'll print them myself. So you just have to pay for that. And he was like, well, he said, I'm already sponsoring my team. He said, which division are y'all? And I said, well, we're in the upper division because I was playing with Wesley. We had most of his tournament team.
Right. Yeah.
And then me. Okay. So I was kind of, they were just out there for batting practice, but they were really good. And then I was mediocre. And so he was like, okay, I'll do it because he said we're in the second division, so we'll play. So anyway, we get to the tournament at the end of the year, and they had won the second division, so they asked if they could move up to play in our tournament. And so, like the first or second round, we play them, and I'd gotten to know him, and he would like it was a former professional baseball player, and he was playing left center, and he was really good. Like he was a really good ball player. And I got up there, and of course, I was just, you know, dink it over the infield type of hitter is all I did.
Right.
I mean, when I was practiced a lot, I could get a line drive over the infield, but that was my bread and butter. And I get up there, and of course, I'm wanting to do good against him because he was talking trash to me the whole year, saying, hey, we could beat y'all and stuff. Dude, I burned him, and I hit the fence from. It was on Fifth Avenue, so it wouldn't have been out, but I still put a line drive on the fence right over his head. I was so excited. It was so great. Anyway, enough of our only softball highlights.
Back in my day.
But anyway, man, this baseball team though, Clint, the pitching's doing good. They're staying somewhat healthy.
Yeah.
I think I heard on the radio Gage Wood's going to go tonight. By the time this gets out,
We'll already know.
we'll already know. But if so, then that's interesting because he's been mostly a reliever, or at least on weekend games he has. But still looking for great things from them. They're still looking good. And now the football team, Clint, is they've added some pieces to the puzzle,
Lost some pieces.
lost some pieces. The latest is Dominique Johnson.
Yeah. That's one of them that you get. You hate it. Yeah, there's a few players you look like what could have been.
Yeah.
And because what happened was that he was the guy. I mean, he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was in front of Rocket. He was in front of everybody. He was just the guy. He was actually committed to Barry Odom at Memphis, if you remember. I'm not Memphis, at Missouri, if you remember.
Mm.
And then he ended up flipping from Missouri to Arkansas when Odom came to Arkansas. So he was one of the first ones to come in. But man, just the injury bug. He's had that knee done a couple times. It's just he is seen a run of bad luck, and I think he's just trying to escape that bad luck. But yeah, I wish
in the writings on the wall for the it tells you what they think of Russell, the freshman.
Yeah, I think the 3 deep is going to be the transfer from Utah. Is it? I can't. I'm brain farting his name. DeBinion and then Russell. I think that's the 3 you're going to roll out with, and then
now they added the guy from what was his name from Florida State?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rodney Hill.
Yeah.
Florida State running back. Transferred in. We've also added
linebacker from Marshall.
Jacksonville State linebacker Larry Worth. Then Anthony Switzer, defensive back from Utah State. They think he's maybe a nickel. Former Syracuse offensive lineman Joe Moore. And Stephen Dix Jr. is the one from Marshall. Now, Stephen Dix started out at Florida State.
At Florida State, yeah. So
had a decent first year there, got injured, went to Marshall, had a good year at Marshall, and now it's coming to Arkansas, and I think he's got 2 more years to play.
No, and then, and we lost Snacks Johnson.
And that's interesting too, Clint. I want to bring that up. Snacks goes back to Baylor, and Jacoby Criswell goes back to North Carolina.
See, that one blew my mind more than Snacks. I kind of get Snacks just going back to Baylor,
Yeah.
but Jacoby wants to go where he's got a chance to be. What did Carolina tell him? Like, hey, you've got a chance of being the starter here. We don't know what happened at Arkansas.
Yeah,
Or is
I haven't heard if they're what their quarterback room's
Yeah,
like.
well, I mean, obviously they lost their starting quarterback, and I'm sure somebody transferred in. But you got to think. I mean, I really felt like Jacoby would go down
Yeah,
at that.
I'm with you.
And I'm not talking about talent level, but just as far as competition level, because he's got 2 years left. He probably wants to play,
Yeah.
and not like that that beating he took it at Missouri. He wants at least to be able to fight, but um. I wasn't thinking like Arkansas Tech or SAU, but I was thinking, maybe
Arkansas
Arkansas
State,
State, Texas State, somewhere, something
Texas
along
El
those.
Paso.
Yeah. And I'm not that, and like I said, nothing to do with talent. I'm not bad mouthing Jalen Criswell. I'm
Even
thinking,
someone like a Marshall, Murray State.
yeah,
I mean, somewhere. Yeah, I'm with you. I was shocked by it.
yeah, Rice.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he would go somewhere where the competition isn't going to be as stringent, where he could go in and say, as long as I perform to the best of my ability, I got this.
yeah.
At Arkansas, he could come and perform the best of his ability. The problem was there was other talented guys there. And,
Yeah,
and that's what proved to
I
happen.
can't see North Carolina having depth much worse than Arkansas, or lesser than. But
Yeah.
who knows? Now one crazy thing, the one thing Jacoby Criswell does have is that he is an Arkansan. That's why people care.
That's right.
Um, this year, as far as players that graduated in the state of Arkansas in the NFL draft, which just came and gone, once again, it's complete horse crap that I didn't get drafted.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm still pretty salty about it.
Still waiting on that phone call.
Yeah, still waiting on that phone call. Goodell, holler at your boy.
That's right.
Um, but they but no, only one player from the state of Arkansas. Is there a problem in the state of Arkansas not,
Now, there was none from the state of Arkansas, right?
yeah. Well, yeah, not born and
Yeah.
I mean graduated high school, yes. There's 3 million people in the state. Is the problem? Let me ask you this, Travis. Let me just is the pro because we have plenty of talent in this state in baseball. It seems like we always have.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Trey Biddy where he says a state of Arkansas size should be putting 3 players minimum in the NFL every year. Every year, 3 players minimum. Is it we have like more of the talented athletes are going to baseball and basketball and less to football in the state? I mean, do you think that's what it is, or is it something else, Travis? What do you think?
I don't know, Clint. I think we're just I think that it's a possibility. I would say basketball more than baseball is taking them, because I think there's more that play football and baseball. Now when they go to the next level, you may be right. They may be picking, baseball over, because there are more avenues to play baseball nowadays, with junior colleges and stuff like that. But like Trey Biddy pointed out, and if you get a chance, watch his YouTube roundup he does every week. And he brings a lot of the same things top on the drive time. He just doesn't have as much time on there. But was it a couple years ago when Traylon Burks and Brown from Ashdown, Monteric Brown, were drafted. But then there were 2 other Arkansas born and raised players, but one of them was from Ouachita and one of them went to another school outside the state. And that's where, as the coach at Arkansas, as the coaches at Arkansas, you hope they find those guys, those two guys you missed on that were NFL caliber. You hope you get those to U of A. If you're the U of A. Now, if you're Washita or the other school, then hey, you're proud you got them. But yeah, I mean, there should be more coming. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know, Clint, if it's that. I don't know if it's,
And this is a shot at the University of Arkansas, because we're talking kids that graduated high school.
It's
They
the
could have
state of
graduated
Arkansas.
high school and went to, they could have, I mean, look, probably the best one of the best left tackles in the history of football, NFL Hall of Famer, Willie Rofe, went to La Tech.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but here's the other thing, Clint, and Trey Biddy brought this up, and I wanted to bring it up in here. On this football roster right now, there are 12 Arkansas kids.
yeah.
Out of 78 scholarship players, 12 of them are from Arkansas. Okay. On the basketball team, how many are from Arkansas? That's it.
Well,
and so
part of that is they all trans. I mean, I'm not gonna count basketball because they all transferred. Yeah. And I thought, and I was good as a head coach as Uncle Eric Musman was. I thought he did a horrific job with in-state high school talent.
Yeah.
Outside Devo and Jay Williams, I think he did a poor job with Darian Ford. I think he did a poor job with Pinion. I'm not saying they're going to be all world at Arkansas State, but I think he did a poor job.
KK Robinson.
It is such a hard dynamic now with and I'm not going to hold this against anybody, because being a Razorback used to really mean something, because you used to have more kids with the Burlsworth attitude.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what's my playing time? What's my NIL? That's what they care about. I don't think it's a Sam Pittman problem where it's the current climate problem.
Yeah.
Like we lost these two kids to Missouri, out of Pine Bluff, and I'm just like, okay, with the wide receiver depth I think we had and who would have played, I think they would have been buried on the depth chart a little bit. Probably
Crutchfield would have played.
They probably would have played, and then you had a chance. Then you have to worry about them getting in the portal. So I'd almost rather get the second or third crack at them than the first crack.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it like that, because dude, it used to be a big deal, for that signing, the National Signing Day. Now it's like, I don't care.
Well, and here's my question for you. And I thought about this, and I actually tried to call Drive Time, but they wasn't taking calls when Trey Biddy was on. I wanted to ask Trey Biddy what he thought about this. With the changes in college sports, okay, with transfer portal, with all this, that's one of the things we're seeing, okay? First of all, your core players are not staying around, so you don't have core players anymore.
Oh, nowhere.
I mean, think about it. 2 of our captains transferred. No, 3 of our captains from last year in football transferred. That's your core players. Okay. That's 3 of your hardcore core. We count on these guys. They ride for Arkansas, never die. They're somewhere else right now. Okay. Paul, Rocket, and KJ, all 3 gone. Okay. And you don't have Arkansas guys on the team that, we've watched in high school. We watched Steve Sullivan show their highlights on Friday nights. We've watched, the Madre Hills, the
Darren McFadden,
the Peyton Hillis's, players like that. Okay. That we were like, when it was recruiting time, we were like, oh, they got to go to Arkansas. They got to go to Arkansas. What are we going to do if they don't go to Arkansas? I mean, these guys, we've watched them their whole career. You know what I mean? You don't have that anymore right now. Okay. And so here's the thing. Here's my question. is that going to change fandom? And I'm not saying it is. I'm asking the question.
No, I don't think so because you're people cheer for the shirt. We used to enjoy cheering for the kids, but now I think you're cheering for the shirts and the coaches. Um, Something I was listening to Trey Beatty's podcast like you were, and the thing was is it used to be you would hear this is the number one kid out of high school. This is the number 7 outside linebacker in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
You have all these rankings now. You're seeing okay, this kid is the number 22 in the portal. He's the number 1 small forward in the transfer portal. You're starting to see more and more of that. I think that you're not going to develop. You're not going to your favorite player in the NFL is at least locked into a contract. And you go, okay, he'll be here for at least till 2025. These kids can transfer as many times as they want. It's just there's no loyalty. If you signed Darren McFadden, and if we like Darren McFadden, he was huge, the Wildcat. How much money his junior year would Darren McFadden have made in NIL?
Oh, for a team that was, yeah.
But it's just to the point. I mean, it's to the point where you can't count on the kids to be there, and so you can't get emotionally invested.
Well, here's the other thing, Clint, too. And I'm glad I was going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up even more now because I just got a notice about John Calipari just put out a tweet and a post on social media. Is remember back in the day when we were in football and coach would always put that Razorback football camp poster up on the board outside his office? Yeah. And I remember walking by that and I always, man, I wanted to go so bad, but I never had the $300 or $400 it cost to go. I mean, it was just too expensive. There's no way I could afford it. And you don't hear about those camps and kids really getting connected at those camps like you used to. Back then you would go and the players would help coach it, the coaches would help coach you, stuff like that. Well, listen to this. I just got this this from John Calipari's X account. As we work to build our team, I wanted to let everyone know that we will be having basketball camps this summer. Satellite camps, women's clinic, and father-son camp. More information coming soon. Excited to take camps on the road across the state this summer and introduce our staff and possibly a few special guests. I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
He's going to go around the state and put on camps at different places, bring his staff and coaches and players with him. That's going to connect people to it. And I think that's more what they're going to have to do. But going back to what we were talking about, and you brought it up, the free agency in the NFL and NBA, and I'm a different fan for NBA than I was NFL. Like I've been a Browns fan for the NFL since
I've known you.
Yeah. But in NBA, I just would follow players. I was a Charles Barkley fan, so I followed Charles Barkley wherever he played at. I was a Houston fan when he was there. I was Phoenix fan when he was there. I followed him around. I was a Shaq fan, so I followed Shaq around. Okay, until he started bouncing around every year, different places. Then I jumped on LeBron for a while until he went to LA and he lost me there. But the thing is, like you said, the movement is so rapid in this college sports. I hope it doesn't hurt. I hope it doesn't. And it may not. It may not hurt fandom, but I think it's something to think about. Because fans are going to be less connected. With baseball right now, one of the things is fans feel very connected to this baseball team. I have lots of friends on Facebook that are putting pictures up of them and baseball players all the time. You know, and they're going to games, and those guys are staying and signing autographs. They feel connected to them, and we got guys that have been around. You know, I mean, Peyton Stovall. I mean, people, followed him around. Tiger. You know, I mean, they people have gotten to know these guys. They followed them for a couple years. They're sticking with them. We're not getting that as much with football and basketball, because
Well,
we
and
don't.
you're not gonna get it in basketball. You're gonna have your one and dones, and these
Yeah,
guys are gonna bounce around and try to make as much money as they can in college off the game.
yeah,
It's just that's the reality of the situations. Um, so it's going to. I mean, the game, all the games, college athletics, we know it has changed and it's over and it's done with. Like I catch myself pulling for Baker Mayfield. I love the way he plays the game.
mm,
I remember watching him as a true freshman walk on start at Texas Tech, and then I remember him, winning the Heisman Trophy, and I thought he got done dirty at Cleveland and all that. So,
yeah. He did.
you know.
He did get done dirty. I loved him at Cleveland. I thought he was a great
Oh
fit.
yeah, and as a Cleveland fan, but I'm just saying I follow the play. It's to me, I think we had it on the podcast earlier where I've got to the point where I enjoy watching the NFL more than I enjoy watching the college game.
Yeah,
It's just because I can follow. At least I know who's going to be there. To the idea they have a core, and it's very rarely that your core just leaves. I mean, you're going to have at least a core there for 3 or 4 years, and then comes time where you got to break it up, just salary cap issues and stuff like
yeah.
that. So.
Well, any more big plans for the vacation?
Man, I may go somewhere exotic like Leachville, Arkansas, but I don't know. Just I've taken a staycation, which is one of the things that just was, you didn't like. As an adult, they're just nice.
Yeah,
Just like I just want a week where I just don't go into work.
yeah.
So,
That's good, man. Well, hey, what you watching?
oh my goodness, what am I watching? I mean, you watching a little Next Level Chef. I've been keeping up with that. The
Yeah,
challenge, of course.
yeah,
Watching the challenge. The challenge. Is it All Stars? Yeah, the
yeah,
Challenge All Stars. Watching that one. Me and you were a couple of teenage girls. We liked the challenge.
yeah. That's right.
But yeah, been watching. That's pretty much what I've been watching. The reality TV. Still watching wrestling. I'm enjoying that. It's a different world now that they've been bought out by the UFC and they've kind of got Vince McMahon away from things.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you want to know why, it's in the news. Google it. So
that's right. I've been watching American Idol,
oh yeah,
and they're getting. Last night was one of the best overall shows. Like
how's
this,
Loretta Lynn's granddaughter doing?
she did awesome last night. She did Coal Miner's Daughter, and uh, she did it in a way that like different than her grandma, and it was emotional, but it was so good. It was really good. Now some of my favorites have already been voted off. Like who I thought were the top two got voted off last week. And like I'm not the only one thought they were top two. I watched this guy on YouTube. He Chase Beckham. He was a runner up several years ago, and he does a show where he kind of talks about how he thought they did. He's a music teacher at a college somewhere now, but anyway, they were his top two and his top 10, and they got voted off at the same time. But and they were my two I thought were the best.
Yeah.
But no, they're good, man. They're doing good, man. There's a young man. He's 15 years old. He's uh him and his mom. He's from Alabama, but his mom got hooked up with some guy, and they ended up in Arkansas for a while. And that guy left them or something. They ended up on the streets in Arkansas, and the grandpa had to, and like the mom was working at like a Dollar General, and the kid would sit outside the Dollar General and play guitar and sing for money. to make extra money and stuff while
Yeah.
she was working. And just a great story. He's country as all get out. And he's doing really good. He's got a good voice. I'm not sure if his voice is going to hold up to win the thing, but his story's good enough to win it. And
No, that's all. You know, never. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll be playing on the Chris Allen stage in downtown Conway.
that's right. There's another
God,
guy
I've
did
never.
Always on My Mind by Willie Nelson, did a version of it. And it was a really good version. Like he didn't change it too much, but he did it more in his style a little bit, kind of a singer songwriter sort of style. It was good.
Okay, I'm asking this question, top to bottom, most talented singer to ever come through. I'm not saying most successful. No, who do you think is the best singer to ever be on American Idol?
Best singer?
Yeah, best period. Like,
Um, man, that's a tough one. Man, God rest her soul, but we just lost one, Mandisa. She was really good.
I don't even know who that is, but I would give it to Adam Lambert.
Adam Lambert's up there. You're right. He was
Yeah.
one I thought about saying.
Well, when you suddenly become the lead, they're saying, you know what, this guy can replace Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Well, he was.
Yeah,
His problem was he was a little too rock for that show.
yeah,
And let's be honest, the people that are voting, because I love it, I watch, but I don't vote.
yeah.
The people that are texting and voting are teenage kids, teenage
Right.
girls mostly, and the boys that like the teenage girls. And so
Well,
so that's what, and they're not gonna vote for a rocker. Okay. And so
well,
that's why Adam Lambert didn't win. But you're right. He's
look at
every
the
bit.
look at the final two that season. And I'm not trying to talk trash about the Arkansans here, but Adam Lambert's going on tour singing Freddie Mercury's part for Queen, and Chris Allen has a stage in downtown Conway, Arkansas.
And he's playing on it at Toadsuck Days.
Toadsuck Days. Toadsuck Days. The same stage.
And yeah,
It was once adorned by Eddie Money. So
that's right.
dude, that was the worst bird I ever heard. I know we're at the end of our time, but there's a radio. They go, there was a guy, he had a dream and he scratched and he clawed and he fought his tail off. And one day he achieved that dream, everybody. That's right. This May, Eddie Money will be playing Toadsuck Days.
That's right. Hey, do you remember? Did you go to the East Carolina Liberty Bowl? You
I
weren't
did
there.
not, but I remember it was cold, as I do.
I was there. I almost died.
Yeah.
One thing that kept me warm was the fact that at halftime, Clint, you know what? I had 2 tickets to paradise.
Dude, something like Toadsuck Days is like a festival like Toadsuck Days is interesting.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like some of the independent wrestling shows because you got two things. You got guys on their way up and you got guys on their way down. And you have a few guys that just kind of stayed there, but for the most part, it is.
For those of y'all that don't know, there may be some that don't know out there. Conway has a big event every first weekend of May called Toadsuck Days. It's named after a place on the Arkansas River called Toadsuck. Little community there. And yes, there's toad races. There's no, I don't think.
Tug of war. I think the UCA football team wins every year.
Yeah. And all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Different vendors and
Used to be a 3-on-3 tournament, Toad Jam, and
yeah, it would be the weekend before Toadsuck Days.
yeah.
They'd have a softball tournament. They had all kinds of
I mean,
stuff.
yeah, they do all kinds of things. But it's a big deal in the city of Conway. And
Yeah.
so Toadsuck Days, ladies and gentlemen.
I remember Randy Rose, my old youth pastor, people would say, we'd go on a trip with our church. The church van had Worcester First Baptist, on it. And people would say, where's Worcester? He'd say, well, it's between Pickles Gap and Toadsuck. No one knew where Pickles Gap was or Toadsuck was either. Anyway, folks, thanks for listening to us. Subscribe subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. You can do it. You can do it.
Just right there. It's
right there. Just hit it. Just hit it.
Help you boys. Help you boys.
And then like and share, comment, tell us what you think. Lay it on us. All right?
Lay it on
Clint.
us.
Man, have a good staycation.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, don't get out too deep. Okay.
I know, it's like I can't swim real good, so I'm not going to go past that part.
That's right. Wear your floaties.
Right there. I wear them.
Wear your floaties. All right. Peace out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My hands get